It was the day we were going to open up the honky tonk, September 13th. And we had been planning this, right? So we have a band booked, the sound system's installed, everything, my employees, we've invited friends, it's a soft opening, everything's going to go, but we're missing something. Something critical. We're missing what's called a cabaret license. The cabaret license is given to you by the Bakersfield Police Department, and it allows you to have live music played in your business. My partner Russell and I are calling. We're trying to connect up with anybody that we can find at BPD or at the city of Bakersfield, and time is ticking, right? And I've got all these people that are going to show up at 6 o'clock, and it's now noon, and I still don't have my cabaret license. My partner Russell's like, dude, we cannot have any music. We cannot do anything if we don't have that license in place. We're gonna have to cancel the whole day.
This is Small Business Celebration, where we introduce you to successful small business owners at their place of business so that you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business and get your next big breakthrough. Hey Josh, what did the bartender say to Charles Dickens when he ordered a martini?
Oliver Twist.
Or maybe shaken but not stirred.
I like mine better.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of Small Business Celebration. This week we're going to be talking about, can you secret Santa shop your business and find out what your customers are really wanting. Also, we're going to be talking about, okay, you've already got a full-time job, but you're building a business. Now is the time to build smarter, not harder. And to guide us this week is David Brust, the owner of Rooster's Cantina. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you here too. And for the one or two Visioneers who don't know who are you and what is it that you do?
My name is David Brust. I own Rooster's Honky Tonk, Rooster's Cantina, and the I Street Pub.
Now, currently you have a full-time job, and for whom do you work?
I work for Clifford and Bradford Insurance. It's the #1 independent agency in Kern County, and I am a property and casualty commercial agent.
And what kinds of services do you offer business owners as an insurance agent?
Anything a business would need, from workers' compensation to general liability, liquor liability in the case of a bar,
Sure.
to EPLI, workers' comp, inland marine, I think you brought up earlier. Anything that you need as a business, we got you handled.
Now, you've had a fair amount of success in the insurance business because you've been doing this for how many years?
For about 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been able to take your success and invest it into other projects, just like where we're at, which is Rooster's Cantina.
Yeah, fortunately that, plus having the greatest wife in the world. I am fortunate enough to be married to Lillian Brust, and without her, none of these things would be possible because she's the best partner I could possibly have.
What was that conversation like when you come up to her and you have this safe, secure, dependable insurance job, because every business needs insurance, and you say, honey, I want to open up a bar?
You know, we had gone to Nashville. I had always had the feeling that Bakersfield as Nashville West was something our forefathers had given up on and never pushed. And I go to Nashville and I see what the future of Bakersfield could have looked like, or what the past of Bakersfield could have looked like. And I wasn't happy. I was really not happy that we had let that go. And I knew that I had to bring it back to Bakersfield.
And you've taken that Nashville look, or the quintessential Bakersfield look, and you have put that here into Rooster's Cantina. Describe for our radio audience where we're at and the environment that you have developed here.
So Rooster's Cantina is the second Roosters, if you will.
Right.
And Rooster's Cantina is a full restaurant with alcohol and beer, wonderful outdoor seating, and incredible food. Our food is cooked by a chef, Manuel Aleman, who's been a chef for 30 years. He's phenomenal. So we have a lot of what I would call old school Mexican cuisine that you probably grew up, that is just deep in those true Mexican flavors. One of the things that make us different, Michael, than anybody else,
right,
or most places in town, is we make all of our own syrups ourselves.
Really?
And so the kitchen makes our sweet and sour, they make our simple syrup, they make our espresso syrup that we use in our espresso martinis. We do a cherry.
And you guys went through and developed your own espresso martini.
Yeah, absolutely. Our espresso martini is different than anybody else's in town.
How so?
Most espresso martinis will call for vodka. We put whiskey in ours.
Oh,
And the reason why we put whiskey in ours is I believe it brings out the coffee flavor of that espresso martini a lot more than vodka will. Vodka is a great neutral spirit,
Right.
but whiskey adds to the taste of that coffee.
sure. How many different kinds of whiskeys do you have here? Because I'm looking at your bar and there's a lot of glass.
There's a lot of glass, and what you see here is I have even more in the basement. So there's well over 150 whiskeys here. We probably have another 50, 60 tequilas and mezcals, not including the vodkas and gins and all the rest of those things, those other spirits that you would get.
One of the things that comes up periodically is when you have such a wide collection of whiskeys and tequilas, is how do you keep them moving? Because if it's sitting on the shelf, it's not making you money.
Right.
So you've got all this great inventory and you've got all these extras that are downstairs that people may or may not know about. How do you keep that product moving?
And that's something that we deal with. We create specials with the whiskeys, flights, various different things we do on social media to talk about the whiskeys and those sorts of things that we have.
Because you're going through and you're saying, this week we're featuring XYZ brand.
And then obviously pricing is a big thing.
Right.
We'll include drinks. For example, our cherry vanilla old fashioned, which is the only cherry vanilla old fashioned in town. We use the Sazerac 100 proof rye.
Wow.
So it's a kind of a hot rye if you are familiar with it. Normally they're at about 80 proof. And so this cherry vanilla, which is our own syrup that we make in-house, it's our recipe. We mix that with that rye and it just turns out beautiful.
And you also have live music.
Yeah, at the Honky Tonk we do live music. It's one of those things that,
Because you went through and you originally, when you first started, said, I am not going to do live music.
no, I said I am gonna do live music. I'm not gonna do anything else but live music, right? So I had this vision of Nashville that I wanted to bring to Bakersfield, right? I wanted to do live country music 4 nights a week. And so we opened up the Honky Tonk at live music 4 nights a week. So on Wednesdays we would have and still have the quintessential Bakersfield sound musician. His name is Vince Galindo, and he's a friend, and he literally was the first person I called outside of our family to tell them we were opening this place up.
Yeah.
He anchors our Wednesdays for us. Then Thursdays, we would have traveling musicians come in and play Thursdays. And then Fridays and Saturdays, we had full bands play Friday and Saturday night. But I learned early on that it wasn't going to go the way that I wanted it to go. I think one of the keys to being a good business person, changing your plan to adapt to what the customer's wants and desires are.
And one of the things that we discovered when Josh and I were setting this up, these two bars are like a block apart from each other, and they're both named Roosters.
They are a block away from each other. The Cantina wasn't something that my wife and I and my wonderful partner, business partner, Russell Johnson, set out to do.
Right.
This wasn't something that we had planned on. We had actually, were working on another venue on East Chester area on the other side that we wanted to open up. And then the opportunity found us early in last year in 2025. And eventually we got the keys to this place. Believe it or not, it's the funniest thing. We got the keys to this place on June 15th.
Right.
And a friend of ours that owns another restaurant, her name is Shauna, it didn't even occur to me what it meant. So 615 is the area code for Nashville.
Yep, yeah.
And it happens to be, we received the keys to both of our businesses, both the Honky Tonk and this place, on 615. It's
Day.
incredible. Nashville Day. Yeah, absolutely.
And Visioneers, if you're finding that your home isn't anywhere close to Rooster's Cantina, might I suggest you buy a new house? And to do that, I suggest you reach out to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty. Born and raised and never left Bakersfield, give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1 at iCloud.com today. And Visioneers, if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about here on Small Business Celebration, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and your question could appear just like Tara, who asks, how do you mystery shop your business and detach your insider knowledge of your business at the same time? Because that's what you found with the original Honky Tonk. Your customers want something different.
A successful business adapts to the wants and desires of its customers.
Right.
The instance of the honky tonk, what happened was I came in with this dream.
Right.
And the dream was live country music 4 nights a week in downtown Bakersfield.
Right.
Which is really important because downtown Bakersfield, in the long history of honky tonks, never had a honky tonk.
But everybody knows there's no parking in downtown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Sure.
Yet somehow when there's a sold out event at the Fox, people can find parking.
It's amazing how
It's
that
amazing
works.
how it works. So where there's a will, there's a way. If they want to come to your place, they'll find parking and they'll make their way there.
And it's also helpful that the parking structure is right across the street.
Yeah, that's true. It's nearby. But to get back to kind of what happened was we set up, we had 4 days of country music. Okay. And then I had told my wife and my partner, I had 2 things I would not do in this business.
Right.
2 of them. I would never have a DJ, ever have a DJ,
Right.
and I would never have karaoke. Just something about karaoke just kind of grates on me, and I was just like, I'm not going to do those 2 things.
Who wants to listen to drunk people sing out of tune?
Exactly,
Not me.
exactly, right? But lo and behold, now 3 years later, we have karaoke every Thursday night,
Right.
and every Friday and Saturday night following the bands, we have a DJ.
Do you take a moment at 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday night and just take a visual survey and look at the demographics of the people in the restaurant?
I do that every night.
Do you then sit back and just randomly find somebody whom you've never met before, and they don't even know you're the owner, and you ask them something about their experience, what do they like? How do you approach that, especially to a perfect stranger?
I usually will go up, and I'm not really big, to be honest. I want the businesses to be successful without me being here.
Right.
That's key. And so I'm not really big on everybody knowing that I own the business. Right. So for me to even sit down and talk with you is a lot because I don't normally, it's not something I pursue. I do because I have to business-wise,
Right.
but it's not something that is steeped within me that I need to do.
And yet we put this big spotlight on you and cameras and say, go at it.
Yeah, and it's
Congratulations.
fine because we need to do it as business
Right.
people, but it's not something that I desire.
Right.
So normally what I'll do is I'll go up to someone here at the Cantina, I'll say hello to them, I'll ask them how their food was, I'll check on the service, I'll see what they have, and you'll be surprised. They'll come back and they'll make some good suggestions. For every 10 bad suggestions I'll get 1 good one that actually matters. The idea is to really be listening to what your customers have to say.
I've mentioned this in my final thoughts on occasion, that some of the most interesting conversations I have on the show are when the cameras are turned off.
Right.
I had a guest on a couple years ago who owned a bar and a restaurant. And one of the things that I thought was really illuminating was he could tell what beverages were selling and which ones weren't by looking at which drinks were left on the tables unfinished. Because if the guest wasn't finishing the drink, that meant they didn't like it.
You know, with the systems that we have now, I can in real time look at every single beverage. I can look at every ticket that's open. I can look at tickets that have closed. There are a lot of things I can get in my reports in live real time through the system that we use that I can tell exactly what's happening in the business to some degree. There's nothing like being boots on the ground and seeing what happens in order for you to really understand your business.
And that brings us to the Visioneer Game. And the Visioneer Game is brought to you by Minimum Press of Bakersfield. Big news, Bakersfield! Quick Signs is now part of Minimum Press of Bakersfield. That means you can still get the same trusted quality in signs, fleet graphics, and banners for your business, fleet, job sites, or storefront. Now with the convenience of a single point of contact for all your visibility needs. With one call, one timeline, and one standard, Minimum Press of Bakersfield has you covered from unknown to top of mind. Call 661-323-7757 or visit them at mmpbakersfield.com today. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the Visioneer Game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone. I have no idea what the random word the generator is going to create, but more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each of 3 words that I give him and somehow associate each word with his business. Now, David, you do realize that if you get any of these 3 words wrong, it's going to be absolute disaster for the entire restaurant and bar industry worldwide.
It's a lot of pressure.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, your first word is chip.
Chips and salsa will make everybody happy, especially with an ice cold Corona on a warm summer day.
Nice, that's 1 for 1. Well done, you. Okay, your second word is ghost.
Some people believe that there is a ghost at Rooster's Honky Tonk. The building was built in 1910, and they truly believe there may be a ghost there.
Does he have a name?
I don't have a name for him. I haven't seen him, but I've had employees that have said they believe there's a spirit in the building.
Well, and when you meet the spirit, make sure you learn what his or her name is and address them properly.
I will, whoever it is, I will be glad to meet them and converse with them if they want to converse. I don't know how that works.
Ask him if he works for tips.
That'll work out really well.
Nice, that's 2 for 2.
All right.
Well
There
done.
you go.
Okay, it all comes down to this. You've gotten 2 right. If you get this last one wrong, it's all for naught. Are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Blank.
Blank? My mind draws a blank probably 5 times a day. You know, the older you get, right, the more your brain just seems to not always connect. Your synapses don't always connect the way you'd like them to.
Nice, that's 3 for 3. Congratulations,
Thank you.
entire restaurant and bar world is saved because of you.
Thank you. My mentors that are in the business will be thankful that I've kept them in place.
And because you've had this life-changing moment here on Small Business Celebration and Save the World, who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Lisette Gomez. She's an incredible person, an incredible friend, and I'm gifted to even know her and to be able to count on her to have business conversations as well as personal conversations. And she's fantastic.
How did you meet her?
We met through friends. We met through friends a few years ago, I would say 5 years ago. And we just kind of connected. And Lisette's a wonderful, special person in my life.
Does she help you with staffing your business?
She helps me with staffing. She helps me with staffing conversations. She helps me. I do her insurance
Right.
For her business, and we're really close. And I'm fortunate to have her in my life.
And that brings us to our second Visioneer question, which is also brought to you by Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Aaron asks, I have a full-time job while I'm building my business. How do I build the business without the feeling of I have to build it like I'm unemployed?
That is such a great question.
It's easy to do. It's easy to have that feeling.
It is, and you feel like I need to spend 80 hours a week at this business doing this thing. Really, I think the key is getting the right processes in place. Spending your time to develop the processes so that the business is working without you. Fortunately enough, I have a great general manager at the Honky Tonk. Her name is Nicole Hiley, and she does a great job for me. And she allows me to have that time, and we have got those processes in place so that I don't have to spend my time at the Honky Tonk the way I used to. And the processes and developing those processes across the board with whatever you're doing in that business is going to be the key to time management and spending the right amount of time in the right places with your business.
Now, I want to ask you a question that lingers in a lot of business owners' minds, because the fear is that the employee that's doing well for their business now starts a business on their own, and it starts taking away from the investment the business owner has put into that employee. How was that conversation that you had with your employer at the insurance agency when you told them that, by the way, I'm going to be starting these other businesses?
You know, my employer, West Bradford, didn't have an issue with it. In fact, opening up my own businesses have made me a better insurance agent because I can understand what businesses deal with on a daily basis and the struggles that they have to deal with. You know, one of the things in insurance is that you hear a lot from clients is, why am I paying all this money? I never need it. I got to go through all these things. You understand better as a business owner what they mean when they tell you the things that they tell you.
Right.
And they also know that I can see it from their viewpoint, which is something we talked about earlier, right? If I can manage to see it from the client's viewpoint, then that makes me a better salesperson. It makes me better at taking care of their needs,
Right.
being able to see and feel the same things that they do.
So if your boss gets the CC in an email at 11:30 on a Saturday night because of a claim that you're working on, he knows it's because you're not at the office, you're doing it remotely from here.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of the way things work nowadays is I don't have to be in the office every day, right?
Right.
I can be and my office is only a block away. You gotta keep, right?
Nice.
So you got to keep in mind. So the office is a block away, the cantina, and then another block. So basically, within 2 blocks, I have all my business.
Nice.
And so for me, it works out really well. I can, hop in there and hop out. But as an insurance agent, the office work you can take anywhere you want in the world with you. The thing that you have to do is be able to meet your clients at their places of business and be able to help them when the time comes.
Or offer them lunch
Or
at
offer-
a convenient location.
Absolutely. You never know when there'll be a place a great place they can get a good lunch at.
Tell me your favorite horror story.
It was the day we were going to open up the honky tonk, September 13th. And we had been planning this, right? So we have a band booked, sound systems installed, everything, my employees, we've invited friends, it's a soft opening, everything's going to go, but we're missing something, something critical.
Uh-oh.
We're missing what's called a cabaret license. The cabaret license is given to you by the Bakersfield Police Department,
Right.
where we live here, and it allows you to have live music played in your business.
Right.
Actually, any music played in your business. So we'd applied for this thing a month or 2 months before, and we weren't getting anything back.
Oh,
right?
no.
My partner Russell and I are calling. We're trying to connect up with anybody that we can find at BPD or at the city of Bakersfield, and both are wonderful entities, and they've been really, really good to us. But we're trying to get this done. And time is ticking, right? And I've got all these people that are going to show up at 6 o'clock, and it's now noon, and I still don't have my cabaret license. And my partner Russell's like, dude, we cannot have any music. We cannot do anything if we don't have that license in place. We're going to have to cancel the whole day.
Right.
And so we're working the phones, going nuts. Everything's going crazy, and it's 4 o'clock.
Tick, tick,
Tick, tick, 2 hours. My wife is like, we're gonna have to call our friends and tell everybody that we can, and still people are gonna show up. How are we gonna deal with it? Sure as anything, 4 o'clock, we get the call from the city of Bakersfield that our cabaret license has been signed and it's ready to go.
Just come down and pick it up.
And I ran as fast as my little feet would take me. I ran over, picked up that license, shot a photo of it, sent it to Russell and said, we can now open. And thankfully we opened up that day.
It's no secret that there's a lot of business owners right now who are struggling. What do you say to your fellow business owner who is having a rough time and let them know that it's going to be okay?
It's only a day. When I have a bad day, Michael, I break my days into halves, if you will. I have before lunch, before noon, and then afternoon, after lunch. And I try to compartmentalize the bad things and those things that happen into that 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour time period. Your ability to process what has happened bad to you or something that happens bad at that moment, deal with that, and then moving on beyond that is going to determine a lot of things in your life. It's going to determine your happiness, and it's going to determine your ability to adapt and move on.
David, this has been a real treat. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you, Michael. It's been my pleasure. You're an amazing guy. This is a great show. And I have nothing but appreciation for everything that you do. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And if Visioneers want to learn more about the Rooster's Honky Tonk as well as Rooster's Cantina, how do they do that?
Well, you can reach out to us on any of the social medias, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. You can Google us, right, like everybody else. We have websites going.
And where are we?
And we are at Rooster's Cantina. We're right downtown Bakersfield on the corner of 19th and H for Rooster's Cantina. And then Rooster's Honky Tonk is 19th and I. So we're basically a block away from each other. And you can pretty much find me down here almost any day of the week if the business is open.
And I'll be right back with my final thought. Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. The other day, I was scrolling through my Instagram feed, and I came across this interview with Bruce Lee. Now, I thought this was rather odd. I'm not exactly a martial arts kind of guy, but yeah, alas, Instagram has got me pegged. It was an inspirational, motivational moment that Bruce Lee gave many, many, many years ago. And he went on to talk about that you don't want to speak negatively about yourself, even as it were a joke, because your mind remembers everything you tell it, good and bad. And at that time, I had been going through a period where things were, let's just say they were a slog, as it were. They were a struggle, and everything just seemed to be bogged down with more and more difficulty. And I realized, going back and looking at some of my edits of the show, that I was doing more and more self-deprecating humor. And that's when it hit me. My mind was remembering everything I had been telling it, even as a self-deprecating joke. Since then, I've stopped doing that. I've gone through and I've tried to be as inspirational and tell myself more and more positive things. More importantly, I like to go around and tell other people positive things about them. And the result has been, well, I've had a lot more fun with the show, the editing, all the business outside of the business, and the lesson has been well learned. Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week here on Small Business Celebration, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough.